Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. You guys already know what happened. You guys already know. There's no need to even play games anymore because we're winning every single time, except for Sunday. But other than that, guys, 9 wins out of 10. This is the strongest Napoli team potentially ever. I mean, I know that there's the Napoli team of Sarri. I know that there's the Napoli team of Maradona. But this team, these 11 players, these 14, now actually 16 players that play every single game now that we have 5 subs. I don't think Napoli has ever had this squad, this level of a squad, guys. We are witnessing, in my opinion, the best Napoli team in history. And the numbers don't lie. These are incredible numbers. We are 10 games in the season out of 38. And at this rate, Napoli are on course to make 107 points out of 114 total. If we keep this up. Now, unlikely that we're going to keep this up, guys, because that would be, I think, a record that, I mean, guys, you don't even do that on FIFA. Anyone who's had a career on FIFA knows that you're gonna get one game, one or two games that you're gonna screw up. But I mean, these numbers are absolutely crazy. These are absolutely crazy. I love the question by Sal Di Brita: would this team beat the 17-18 team, the one that got so close to the Scudetto, the one that was playing by heart, Sarri's creation? Would this team beat it? That's going to be the poll of the day, guys. You know, I'm starting to like these polls, and I'm just going to take the question from Sal here because it's a great question, and I think it deserves everyone chipping in and answering that. So that's the poll of the day. Let me just type this down. All right, guys. Now I think that you'll be able to vote. Yeah, there we go. The voting can start. Let me know what you think. Smash that like button while you vote. If you like the content that you're getting on this channel recently, guys, I think most of you that are connected today are gonna be aware that we had an interview 2 days ago that I posted yesterday with Omar Katuba, a great guy, talks amazing, super fun guy. Obviously, Osimhen's friend, and we talk everything from Nigerian football to Osimhen to journalism. So, incredible experience that was. But, wow, 81% of you so far are saying that, yes, this Napoli team is better than the one in 17-18. And, you know, for me, I think it totally is. I mean, the starting 11, potentially, it's not a landslide win for this Napoli team because that team was incredible, the starting 11. But in terms of squad depth, in terms of now, you know, we've got that experience because a lot of the players in 17-18 are still here. We've got obviously Koulibaly, Mario Rui, Insigne, Mertens, Gulam, who's come back today. Zielinski was there as well. So we've got a lot of players that have experience of that 17-18 season, and they're bringing that this year. And I'm excited, guys. I want to read some of the comments and say, let's see, Anthony says, we deserved more goals. I was starving for Victor to score. We need him to. Great game. We felt in control after about 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, Osimhen, the only thing he didn't do today was score, but it was a treat to watch Osimhen. Some of the technical things that he did on the field today were incredible. The way he would turn and shoot, the way he'd control the ball, his back heels, the way he got the penalties, the desire to go after every single ball. That was peak Osimhen today. He was only missing the goal. And but that's going to come. That's going to come because he's looking sharp. He's looking extremely sharp. Pressing was good today without forcing against this Eric Clark. Good game with good pace, looking like a championship caliber team. Defense was solid. The defense is what makes this team incredible, but not the back four necessarily, the way we defend. And I think it's time that we go straight into the analysis of the game because we need to analyze what exactly Napoli did to win this game. ID Beats keeps asking me to talk about Lobotka. I'm not exactly sure why we need to talk about Lobotka today out of all people. But Blue Line is saying Napoli has the ability and the confidence and there is possibility to win. I think there's a great chance to win. Honestly, we are putting other teams now far behind us. I mean, Juventus are now officially out of the race and that's always going to be the toughest team to beat because there's a mental aspect that you have to overcome when you're in a title race with Juventus. There's that aspect of, oh God, these guys have done it, and they've done it over 30 times. And somehow they managed to do it. Now, whether that's with the help of refs, whether that's with, I don't know what it is, but when you're in a title fight against Juventus, it goes beyond what you see on the field. There's a whole mental aspect to get over, and I feel like it's not at the same level when you play against Milan and when you play against Inter, and that's a huge benefit for Napoli this season, not having to deal with Juventus in the title mix, because Juventus are a type of team that when they're at 80%, they'll still win the title, even though the other team is a better team, just because, again, mentally, the mental aspect in sport is so important. But again, this Napoli team now has that confidence, as you say, has that experience from the players that did go against Juventus in that 17-18 year. And now we're taking that and we're becoming machines and monsters. Sport TV 24, Timor is saying Napoli is winning the Scudetto. Let's hope so. I mean, we are tied on points with Milan, but I honestly, if I had to put my money on it right now, I think if I really had to put my money on it, then I'm not going to say it, but I think you guys know where I'd put my money. Did you see Spalletti celebrating the curvas as Tyson? Yeah, Spalletti, I think he really enjoyed that game, you know. For once, he wasn't responsible for anything. The team was comfortably in control, and at that point, you just sit back, watch it, you know, from the perspective of the stadium, which is always nice because you get to see the full field from above. And I'm sure he learned quite a bit about Napoli, having seen them from a different perspective. Ossi needs rest, as Raptor will. Ossi looked good. He looked sharp. I think we'll rest him maybe a bit more against Salernitana. I think with Salernitana we should have an easier game. But again, it's a derby, so who knows? Who knows what that's going to be like. So, guys, let me go straight to the analysis of this game. So, you know, I knew we were going to win this game when the coach was this guy. You know why? Because his name is Domenichini and my name's Domenico. And I was like, that's kind of me on the bench. And then at that point, you know you're going to win. Like, come on. This guy's a tactical genius just because he has my same name. So it was done before it was started, you know. I was confident about this within 2 minutes of the game. But jokes aside, guys, this guy has a whole lot of experience, has been following Spalletti throughout his career at different stages, was there with Inter when Spalletti was at Inter and all that. So I was confident that we didn't have some amateur on the bench. I mean, I don't want to talk about Ancelotti, but when Ancelotti was coaching Napoli, you know who would be our vice? It would be Ancelotti's son, who at most could manage a PE class. And now we get someone serious. We get someone that has experience, that has followed the coach across different leagues, across, different clubs. And so I knew that this guy could handle it today, and he showed that he was able to do the job, made the right subs at the right time, and it honestly didn't feel like Spalletti was missing today. And that shows real chemistry, and that shows that this team they know what they're doing. They don't need the coach telling them how to place every single pass. Remember last year with Gattuso? Remember last year where he was saying to all the players where they had to pass the ball? He kept calling Lobotka's name, kept calling Lozano as if he was trying to play FIFA. That's not how you control a team. That's not how it's meant to be. The team is meant to go out there and play based on what they learned throughout the week. And, the proof that Napoli are doing the right thing is that this guy came in today and it was as if nothing happened. Yeah, guys, a lot of comments. I hope I can get to everyone. Anguissa improved with finishing. I think Spalletti has a fake account and watching Napoli Talk Weekly. Guys, I know I tweeted that. So, yeah, guys, follow me on my social media, official Napoli Talk for the memes, and Napoli Talk Twitter for any random insight that I have when I'm not on camera. But I said last week, or not even last week, I said on Sunday that Anguissa, I gave him half a point less because he didn't take enough shots. I was like, man, come on, you got to shoot. I'm going to give you a half a point less. And today he went all out. I mean, this guy took it personally today, and he hit the crossbar with one of them. In my video with Oma, I was saying how Osimhen needs a signature celebration, and I did the example of the bow and arrow, and then Fabian did the bow and arrow when he scored. I think they're watching, guys. So careful what you say in the chat because they're watching, guys. They're watching. Shout out to the Napoli players and coach if you're watching. Hit me up. You know where I am. Anyways, so why was it so easy for Napoli today? What did Bologna try to do, and how did Napoli react to it? Well, Bologna, to be fair to them, when we had less than a minute on the clock, so at this point they were still in the game, less than a minute in, they had a 3-4-2-1 formation, and the 2 and the 1 at the front made Bologna like a spearhead in the middle. They had like a spearhead shape down the middle, and you can kind of see that with the 3 players there. And they weren't too wide. They were just around the box, pretty like right in front of the box, as you can see in that picture. And that forced the Napoli back 4, all 4 of them, to stay compact within the box. Now, that meant that when Bologna took one of their wide players down the touchline, then it meant that players like Lozano had to come back and defend, had to be there, because Di Lorenzo could not cover that position. Because if Di Lorenzo moved from where he was, then one of the Bologna players would find that corridor of space in between himself and Rahmani. So Di Lorenzo had to be there, which means that Lozano had to come back and defend, and Lozano did that brilliantly. I sometimes criticize Lozano for not defending as much as Politano, but today he did that. He did that, and I cannot fault him at all for his defensive work today, and I thought he was great today. Not one of his most amazing performances, but his dedication and all that. I mean, that's been the case with every Napoli player, to be honest. There's never been a situation this year where Napoli did not have dedication. And you can see that from the way that Napoli press. And, often people talk about chemistry, and I don't want to call out people. I don't want to call out other creators, but someone said that Napoli don't have team chemistry. Someone said that, guys. And a team that has conceded 3 goals in 10 games, for me, has chemistry. A team that presses at the right time and recovers the ball up the field and forces mistakes from other teams is a team that has chemistry. Because when you don't have chemistry, you're a second or two late to these things, and then the pressing is useless if you're a second or too late, and it's actually harmful. All right. So, Napoli press, Osimhen presses all the way there, and it forces the Bologna keeper to clear the ball with his weak foot, and that's called intelligent pressing. You press when they're at their most vulnerable. When the ball's going to the guy's weak foot, you press even harder because he's going to have a hard time, clearing that ball and finding a right pass. So you press even harder there. And, he tried to find a pass and it went out, and, Napoli got the ball back. So chemistry, smarts, intelligence, fitness, everything's there for Napoli this year. EJ Wise, thank you so much for your $9.99 donation. I appreciate that so much, man. You're always so kind, and I don't know what I do to deserve such a donation every time, man. Honestly. He says, what a joy to watch. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but who's your dream signing for next season? Make sure you're all smashing that like button. Guys, make sure you're smashing that like button. There is more than half of you that are watching have not yet smashed that like button. Guys, I hope you tune in and appreciate the content that I try to give to you like 10 minutes after the game's done. And if so, show some love. It helps the channel grow, helps reach more people. And I do donate 1 cent to charity for every like and subscribe that I get. So everybody wins if we do that. So yeah, make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. I hate to remind you, but it does help, and it's nice. What a joy to watch. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Who's your dream signing for next season? My dream signing for next season is Anguissa, man. I want this guy to sign his life to Napoli, man. I want him to have like a blood contract with Napoli, man. Until the day he dies, I want him at Napoli. How Napoli have not yet officially bought him from Fulham, I have no idea. I mean, if I was De Laurentiis right now, I'd get on a plane to London. He can crash at my place if the problem's about hotels or something like that. Get on a plane to the UK, man. Talk to Fulham. Give them what they want. They just want 15 million. That's the agreement that we have. And sign Anguissa, man. Make it permanent, because it's no guarantee that Anguissa is going to sign for Napoli next season. We have an option to buy him, but it's also that Anguissa then has to sign that contract. And if he keeps playing the way he's playing, and a team like Bayern Munich comes along and offers him 3 times the salary that Napoli would, then he has the option to refuse Napoli, and then Fulham can negotiate with teams like Bayern Munich and all that. So we need to wrap that up as soon as possible. As soon as possible, guys. We got to make sure that's a done deal. Let's not kid around with Anguissa, because he is phenomenal, and for the price of 15 million, which is what Napoli could get him for, it is a bargain. It is a huge bargain. Canuhan Flame is saying Daniel Bowen is probably Gulam. FG31 played today and Bowen didn't appear in the chat yet. Oh man, I mean, Gulam, we'll get to that. 7.5 months since his last appearance. Incredible story. Carol Wilson is saying, I think Insigne heard your comments on penalty shots. That's also true. The way he smashed them. Guys, I'm telling you, I mean, they're watching. I don't think Insigne is watching, because I don't think his English is that good. But someone must have told them, you got to just start smashing these, because the way he was trying to just like pass the ball, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. Smash it, and no keeper can reach it. You don't even have to hope that he doesn't guess the right way anymore if you're smashing it, because the keeper won't be able to reach it. T. Tolea. This is a tongue twister, man. Your name always gets me. T. Tolea Foa saying Anguissa, Fabian, and Zielinski in peak shooting form are dangerous. A lot of threats outside the box. We are waiting for Zielinski to get back in form, but when he does, then we've got 3 guys that know how to hit it. So that's going to be crazy. Osimhen should cost 150 million by now, says Sport TV 24 Timar. I think there is potential for that. Maybe if he keeps this up for another year. So I think now he's worth about 100 if he keeps this up for this season. If he has 2 seasons like this, where he gets, 25 to 30 goals in 2 seasons in a row, and he's only going to be 23 by then we're talking about 150 million euro player. So, yeah, but not now. Now it's a bit early still to go that much, I think. Let's see some other comments. ID Beats, welcome to the house, guys. A lot of you guys in the chat today, excited about this win. Make sure you are smashing that like button if you're liking the analysis of the match. Do we sign someone, if anyone, in the winter transfer window? Do we try to sell someone, says Napoli Talk. Look, sell no one. Sell absolutely no one, because every single person can contribute to this team. We have so many games, potential injuries that come up, the African Cup of Nations, Europa League, we want to go all the way, Coppa Italia, we want to go all the way, and there's a real chemistry about this team, and a lot of that chemistry is built in the changing room. You don't want anyone leaving, anyone losing their best friend, anyone losing their roommate when they go in away games. Man, just keep everything the way it is. Don't touch a toy that's not broken. So don't sell anyone, even if it's like the guy who hasn't even played a minute. Don't sell him. Keep him there. He's probably got good jokes and keeps the mood high in the team. Apart from that, should we sign anyone? Again, who do we sign that would actually come at a decent cost and improve this team? It is extremely difficult. I think maybe I would sign another striker if Petagna doesn't deliver, because, we would have Osimhen in the African Cup of Nations, and we would then just rely on Mertens and Petagna. But Petagna, he's got injury issues. Maybe also Mertens. So maybe a striker. Maybe I would go for the Serie B guy, Luca, and just, offer 20 million to Pisa, lock him up, and then next year we can have Osimhen and Luca fight it out for that spot. Obviously, it's going to be Osimhen's, but Luca would be a great addition to the team. And then at that point, you sell Petagna and Mertens. He's not really going to play as a number 9 anymore, I think. he's going to be more of a number 10. Other than that, guys, probably a right back. A right back would be pretty good to make Di Lorenzo rest, because Malquit is just not performing to the level that we want him to perform. Nicolas Wyger saying he can crash at my place. I live in Fulham. Nice one. I used to live in Hammersmith like 3 years ago. AMS is in the house. Always nice to have AMS in the house. What's up, fellas? What's up? Dave FC saying, do you miss Jorginho? Yeah, I miss Jorginho. Jorginho is like one of my favorite players. There's some ex-Napoli players that you just love, even though they left. Albiol, Jorginho are 2 of them, and he is such a baller. He was so misunderstood by Chelsea at the start, and I'm glad he's in contention for the Ballon d'Or, guys. Let's move on with the analysis. So we had this opportunity here with Insigne that I want to analyze, right? Because we talk a lot about tactics in this channel, and the majority of the time that's because these guys are operating at the highest level. These are top professionals, and it almost seems weird for me to say you messed up something technical. Imagine going up to Insigne and saying, I don't like the way you touch that, you control that ball or something like that. It just feels wrong to do that. But in this case, I'm going to have to do that. So Osimhen, brilliant vision, sets Insigne up. Look at the way he runs with his head up, by the way. He knows he's scanning the field as he is running. And Insigne at this point, he controls the ball with his right foot. And by doing that, opens up his body. You can see how open his body is. He's always going to take that ball and drag it to his left. Now, Insigne is not good with his left foot. He would rather, he would rather shoot with his right foot and have a broken ankle on his right foot than try to shoot with his left, pretty much. But for some reason, this time he takes it on his left foot, and honestly, the angle wasn't great, and he misses. What he should have done at this point was that he should have closed the angle, come towards the ball, and get his body in between the defender and the ball. Come across the ball, you square up with the goalkeeper with the whole goal in front of you. You're on your right foot, and then you've got the option of curling it second post, diagonal first post, chip it over the goalkeeper, and you can do whatever you want on your right foot. And guys, the defender at that point cannot touch you, because if they trip you up, then it's a straight red as the last man. So if Insigne comes across, the first thing the defender will do is try to avoid him and put his hands up. And Insigne doesn't have to worry about, the ball, them taking the ball from him. They're not going to risk that when it's 0-0 on the 14th minute. So that's what I feel like he should have done. Instead, he goes wide on his left foot, dinks the goalkeeper pretty well, to be honest. But the shot is going nowhere near the goal. It's angled in all the wrong ways, and they're able to clear it. But so we talk a lot about tactics, but there's a moment where I feel like, I could say a few things about them on a technical level as well. Daniel Bowen with the €10 donation saying we need the ultras back, guys. Yes, we need them back. We need them back because they deserve to see this Napoli team perform at such a high level. First off, Napoli deserve to have the hottest fans back in the stadium. I agree with that. But at the same time, there needs to be a compromise. There needs to be some dialogue between the ultras and the club about how to do that in a safe way. The club needs to set up, like what Dortmund have, a standing section. If the club says, look, we have all these nice fancy seats now that you can see in this image, and we don't want the ultras jumping on the seats and ruining the property of the stadium, then get rid of those seats and put a standing section where the curvas are. Have a wall of standing people with rails in front of them, like they have at Dortmund, where they have the yellow wall, and then everybody's happy. Because the problem now is that the fans can't stand up because it's a safety hazard. And then they also add in other things like COVID, because with COVID, basically, you have to stand certain distance apart, and in the curva there's no assigned seats in Naples. You don't go to the curva and say, oh, my seat is A51. No, you don't do that. It's first come, first serve, and if you're a historic member of the curva, then you get your specific area and all. Like whatever it says on your ticket doesn't matter when you're in Napoli in the curva. So there's that issue there where people are coming together and not respecting the distances and their seats, but it can be solved. It literally can be solved if the club wants to. So yes, let's try to make this work. Sport TV team are saying Mauro Rui did play excellent today. Yes, we will see that in the player ratings. He did play excellent. I know Chelsea would be open to selling him. He's like 10-12 million, says Tito Leofoa. Get a left back. Emerson is a bargain. I mean, Emerson now is with Lyon, and I think Lyon might buy him, to be honest. And I don't know why we didn't sign him this year. That's something that we haven't really gotten an answer for. IDB is saying, do we need the Ultras back? Seems like a bunch of criminals to me when they created havoc in Leicester and a general criminal presence. Look, man, I was in Leicester, all right? I saw everything in Leicester. They arrested a few Napoli fans. But I swear to you, I saw with my own eyes. I wouldn't lie to you guys with something that I saw with my own eyes. The Leicester fans started it. I swear to you. The Napoli fans were in their little corner celebrating Osimhen's equalizer. And the Leicester fans started throwing the flags that the club gave them to start waving at the start of the match. And they came from both sides. And the Napoli fans were like in a corner down below. And the Leicester fans were all over their side like a wall. And all the flags were coming down from above, hitting the Napoli fans in the head. And then the Leicester fans started going at the Napoli fans. And at that point, the Napoli fans reacted, because what are they going to do? They're not, they're not the most civilized of people. I'll give you that. But let's not use the Leicester as an example, because that's not true. And they're not all criminals. Look, man, there might be some. No doubt. No doubt. There might be some. I'm not defending every single one of them. But it's wrong to say that all of them are. And, every man is innocent, until proven guilty. These are free men on the streets. If they get caught up in something in their private life and they go to jail for whatever reason, fair enough. But that's not the guys that are in the stadium every day necessarily, because, hey, they haven't done anything if they're still allowed to go out, right? But I might be wrong. I'm no police, so I don't know. What I do know is that stadiums need people that cheer the team on, and they're the only ones that do that. I mean, the rest of the stadium is a bit more quiet than the ultras, and I think, they're part of the game. They're part of the game. But that's a whole different video, I think, and some that I think I would need to get different opinions on, because it is a controversial topic. So let's see some more. See some more comments. Zeke also saying the only thing missing today was Osimhen getting his goal. He did all he could, but it didn't happen. Napoli is gaining momentum. The season is still a long way to go. Yeah, Osimhen did everything well. I mean, you saw his pass here to Insigne was perfect. He got the 2 penalties. He was so close to scoring with his head, with his feet. He did everything, but he didn't get the goal. But that's fine. That's fine. His performance was good. And at the end of the season, he will have enough goals to show that on paper he did a great job. But we know that even though today he on paper didn't score or assist, he still was incredible today. So let's talk about the goal. Because I love the way Napoli are scoring their goals, man. I love it. It is the most positive style of football that I've seen Napoli play in a while. I mean, you've got so many people in a space of, how many meters is that? How many meters is that bubble? You've got, I don't know, a 10 by 3 square, rectangle, right? 10 meters by 3 in length, where you've got 5 Napoli players pressing 2 Bologna players. Now, it's inevitable at this point, so far up the field, that Napoli, against a team that lacks some sort of quality, is going to recover the ball. And when they recover this ball, man, Bologna just don't have the capacity to react. Because normally, when you've got a player of Fabian's quality around the box, you would have 2 lines of defense in front of him. You would have the midfield line, and then staggered, you would have the defense line. And so you would never see this gap. Normally, if a defense is set up properly, if they're lying at a low block, you wouldn't get this opportunity here, where there's a corridor for a player like Fabian to score. But because Napoli recovered the ball super quickly, and because we do it with all these players, including those like Fabian who have great shooting capacity, then it allows him to be in the ideal position to take a shot without Bologna having the chance to close those spaces, close those corridors. So everything starts off with the ball recovery, guys, and then the shot was just incredible. The way that Fabian is playing this year, I can't remember if this is his 3rd or 4th goal, but they have all been absolute peaches. Absolute. So, yeah, incredible stuff by Napoli, by Fabian. Vincenzo Bertillo saying dumb diplomat. Yesterday he said on Twitter that I was Einstein. This guy is hyping me up, man. Like, it's crazy. Thanks, Vin, man. I appreciate you. And I think he's like one of the funniest guys on Twitter, honestly. So you guys have to, if you guys follow me on Twitter, Napoli Talk, then make sure you also follow Vin, because he drops some absolute comedy on there relating to Napoli. So you guys got to check him out. Paul Vives Escobar is saying, would be interesting vid explaining how the curvas work in Naples, the difference between them and all that. So as I was explaining that, I was thinking to myself, yeah, you know what? I think I need to do a separate video on that. But I've been to the curva. I have some personal experience in the curva, and it was interesting. It was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I might save it for the video. I might save the insight for the video. But I feel like I would need to. Yeah, it's a tricky subject, man, because you're talking about a group of people at that point. A group of, let's say, how big is this Napoli Stadium? 60,000 seats. In the curvas, you'd probably get 15,000 people, right? Because you would get 15, 30, and then you'd get another 10 to 15,000, right? So when you talk about a group of 10 to 15,000 people, you have to be very careful with the words you choose, because at that point, you know, if you say the curvas are a great group of people, or the curvas are a bad group of people, or they're this or they're that, you're talking about 10,000 people, 15,000 people, and you know that could be misleading and disrespectful. So it's difficult to make a video about that. You know, I don't want to anger too many people or, you know, anything like this. So yeah, I gotta be careful with the things you say. So we'll see. It's def too early to talk too much about the Scudetto, says ID Beats. Fabian for the Spain national team, says SJ. Yeah, how Fabian was not called up by Spain, I have absolutely no idea. SJ said, my first Napoli game as a tourist in Napoli, I saw in the Curva. What an experience. Yeah, I mean, they are experiences that I think everyone needs to do at some point in their life. If they support Napoli, go sit with the Curva once in your life and just have that. Should I wear Napoli gear at Salerno on Sunday? Daniel, first off, thank you for your second donation. I'm just laughing at the image of Daniel Bowen going to Salerno with his Napoli jersey against Salernitana and getting a beating by this. Those guys are crazy, the Salernitana guys. That's a derby that they are waiting. They've been waiting for that derby for decades, man. I'd be careful. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with you. I feel like if there's one person I don't want to mess with in the chat, it's probably Daniel Bowen. I mean, I've seen pictures of Daniel on Twitter, and he's a big, strong guy. I wouldn't want to get on his bad side, but man, be careful, dude. Be careful out there. But yeah, I mean, if you're going, I think obviously you're going. If you're going, yeah, stay safe, man. So let's move on to more tactical analysis of the game and how Napoli managed to play around Bologna. So we talked about Bologna's formation, that 3-4-2-1. Very central, especially the three in attack, very central, spearheaded sort of formation. And they were boxing Elmas and, you know, in this case, Mauro Rui, I think too much. And this allowed Napoli to really attack them, especially in the first half, down the right. We quickly found the channels to go down the right. And what this did was that it made Bologna tire tremendously. This compact group of players were going left to right throughout the game. Because then when we were on the right, then we would put it back on the left. And, you know, they were tiring. And then that was stretching because it's hard to stay compact going left and right. They were tiring, stretching. And then we would find a way down the middle. And Napoli did that so well. Luigi Della Vecchia saying top quality channel, deserves support. Grazie Luigi. Thanks for your $5 donation, man. I know that you've been supporting this channel for a long time. I think you found me through Caffè Napoli 1926. Guys, if there's someone here who speaks Italian, another great YouTuber is Caffè Napoli 1926. He posts daily, guys, in Italian, and he is super prepared content creator. And he gave me, honestly, my first big break. He was the first guy that I did a collab with on his channel a few months ago, more than a year ago now. If you guys speak Italian, go check him out and tell him that you're there through me. I think he'd enjoy that. But anyways, grazie Luigi. Maximus 1318 Abel with the $5 donation. Thank you so much, man, for also supporting the channel for such a long time. Here's some money towards a tribute to Daniel Balls of Steel Bowen. Guys, we need to have all this money that we're collecting. It's not going to charity anymore, man. It's going to go into a bucket for Daniel Bowen's health insurance after he gets beat up by the Salernitana fans. Man, we've got your medical bills covered, okay? We've got the chat contributing. I think with this $5 donation, we can buy you some bandages if you get, anything happens to you, maybe a pack of ice as well. I think we cover you pretty well with this. So, no, man, I swear, stay safe. Seriously, man, I mean, I'm joking about this, but stay safe. And Maximus, man, thank you so much for the $5 donation. It's really appreciated. SJ saying, if Napoli keep this up, Spalletti needs to be talked about in the same conversation as Klopp and Tuchel. Man, Spalletti is a tactical genius. Since Roma, man. I talked about it at Rabona TV, but the way he transformed Roma back in like 2005, 2006, all that was incredible. Roma had 11 straight wins at one point in that season. Somehow they didn't win the Scudetto, but they had 11 straight wins. They were beating teams like 6-7-0, and he transformed Totti into the first real fake number 9. And then Pep Guardiola took that concept and made Messi a monster out of it. But that started with Spalletti at Roma with Totti. And that year, Totti became capocannoniere, the top goal scorer in Italy. And he is not a number 9. He was the first fake 9, and that was thanks to Spalletti. So, yeah, he has been innovating in football for decades now. Elevating teams like Roma, elevating teams like Inter. Inter, after Mourinho left, they went through like 10 years, not 10, but 8, 7 years without Champions League football. No man's land in the league. Spalletti comes in with very little investment, and he gets them 2 Champions League places in a row. Then they sack him, not because he's not doing well. They sack him because Marotta came to Inter from Juventus, and he wanted to bring his right-hand man Conte, which he had at Juventus, and they splashed the money, and they got Hakimi, they got Barella, they got Lukaku, they got all these guys. But Spalletti with those group of players would have done the same thing, and he didn't get fired because he sucked. He got fired because the management at the top changed. So people have been sleeping on Spalletti, honestly. He's not getting the credit that he deserves, and I finally think that now he might be able to, if he does something special at Napoli, honestly. And it does need to be talked about a bit more. And hopefully with these analysis, people are starting to understand that there's a lot of thought going into this Napoli team. It's not random. It's not a one-man team. It is really a well-rehearsed team that's going on the field today. And then we get to the penalty. So again, Osimhen here is the guy that allows Napoli to get a penalty because he's wrestling against what's his name from the Chilean in Bologna, ex-Inter player. His name's off, it's at the tip of my tongue, but this guy can't compete with Osimhen. He has to go in with his hand, and so it's a clear handball. I don't know what he was protesting, to be honest, after the referee even saw it on VAR. And Insigne smashes that into the bottom corner, just like the same way you guys are smashing that like button. I saw that like button getting smashed the moment I said the word smash. Like someone almost had like a reaction. I say the word smash and someone smashes the like button. But yeah, I mean, he smashes it, and that's the way he needed to do this. Medel, there we go. Medel. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Medel. Yes, Medel is the Chilean player that I'm talking about. Hugo Chavez. So, yeah. Insigne smashes it, and to be honest, we knew he was going to take that penalty. Spalletti said there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Insigne wasn't going to take it. It was his to take. He smashes it, and this one didn't surprise me, but you know which one did surprise me? The second penalty. Because at that point, he had nothing to prove anymore to anyone. He could have handed it over symbolically to someone like Osimhen, for example, and say, here you go, man, have your goal today. And no one would have criticized him, because no one would have said, oh, he's shying away because he scored the first one. He took responsibility. But he'd shelter himself from potentially missing the second one and people being like, oh, here we go again. Instead, Insigne took the second one as well, and we'll see that in the second half. And that's what really surprised me, actually, because that showed that he's got 100% confidence in his ability still, and he wasn't just taking this to get something off his shoulders. When he took that second one, it really meant something. But as I said, Osimhen today was incredible. The technical things that he did, the back heels. He had that header that went so close to the post in the second half, and he rose to the sky one more time. So he's got incredible jump. But this one was also, this opportunity here was also incredible and worth taking a note, because Lozano plays him a ball, a fast one, and is difficult to control. And Osimhen is able to shield the ball from Medel, who's a strong guy. Shield the ball from Medel, catch him at the wrong moment. Medel's got his feet planted on the ground, whereas Osimhen's got his feet up, ready to turn. Immediately turns around, first time, doesn't take a look on goal, and just smashes it. And look at where Medel is. Look at where Medel was half a second ago to Osimhen's, on the right side of the screen. Look at Medel now. He's on the left. He's not the guy where the arrow is. He's the other guy. Osimhen sent Medel back to Chile. Okay? He sent him back to Chile to find, Edu Vargas, the ex-Chilean Napoli player. That's how far Medel went. And the way Osimhen turned around is incredible. And the shot went wide, but not that wide, considering that Osimhen didn't even have a look at goal. So yeah, that was incredible. Vizavi is saying Dave FC, it's an old concept, but he's the one who brought it to the modern game, says Vizavi. Yeah, talking about the false nine. The false nine always kind of existed. You'd have teams in the 50s technically playing with false nines at times, and you would have Holland's total football in the 70s where everyone is moving. Holland were an absolutely crazy machine in the 70s. For anyone that doesn't know, that Holland team, they had no positions. They would have Krol, a Napoli center back, who 1 minute is center back, the next minute he's playing right wing, the next minute he's playing striker. The team just rotated. As long as everybody was covering some portion of the field, it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter who was striker. It didn't matter who was number 10. It didn't matter who was a winger. It didn't matter who was a center back. Now, it's a bit of an exaggeration that it didn't matter, but that was the general philosophy. So in those teams, you would get situations where there's a false nine playing. So yes, it's not a completely new concept, but Spalletti modernized it to the modern, fast-paced, attacking game, high press, all those kind of things. And he took that to Roma with Totti, and then Guardiola made Messi a machine out of it and took it to the next level. But yeah, a bit of a football philosophy school at Napoli talk as well. Zen ED is saying, as a Mexican fan, I love Chucky, but he needs to raise his level. Needs Gattuso shouting in the back. Do you actually think that he needs... What if we give only Lozano? Like, Gattuso comes back to Napoli, but only for Lozano. He's not allowed to talk to anyone. He's not allowed to even, enter the premises of Napoli, but he's got, Chucky on, headsets, and he's going, Chucky! Chucky! Like last year. And then you just see Lozano just going for it. And, yeah, that would be pretty fun. To see Lozano with some AirPods rocking up to the games and having Gattuso in the stands just privately for him. Because if he touches anyone else, if he interferes with anyone else, then the team starts losing again. Daniel Bowen with the €10 donation, man. You're so kind, man. Thank you so much for your support of this channel. It blows my mind. The support that I get for just talking about a ball that moves on a field. Saying Dom the comedian tonight. I'm in a good mood when Napoli wins. I don't know if you guys are noticing that my nose is all red and stuff like that. It's because I am a bit sick. So yeah, I've got a bit of... It's not COVID, guys. Before you guys think about COVID, it's not. I just got a cold, when you're not wearing the right coat, and then it's a bit of wind and all that. I'm sure you guys know. You're all humans. It's a basic human experience getting a cold, guys. It's basic human. I did 3 tests to make sure it's not anything else. So I don't know why I had to explain to you guys how people get a cold. That was random. Anyways, let's move on to other things, including football. So we had this penalty by Napoli, the second one, right? And this one I really liked because you can see Osimhen. I mean, we're 2-0 up, but Osimhen's screaming for the ball. Absolutely going crazy to try to receive the ball, and I love that. And what I really love also is Napoli's position. The way that Napoli is set up, trying to attack this ball is perfect. That's the exact line that you want to see. And the players are in the exact perfect position. This is the best screenshot ever of how to prepare for a cross. Because you've got Chucky attacking the front post. So Di Lorenzo can pass the ball down the channel, either straight or have a bit of a bend for the front post. You've got Osimhen and Elmas attacking like a fork in between the center backs and the full back. All right, so finding that gap between the defenders. And then you've got Insigne coming around the back. And that line there is perfect because by the time that the ball reaches the back post, Insigne, because he's further away from the ball, he will be then at that perfect position where the arrow ends. He's got a longer distance to cover, but he's got more time. Do you guys feel me? So it's perfect. You build up that speed to attack the ball. It's just perfect. And then you've got Anguissa around the D, for any loose ball that could happen. Any defender that tries to get the ball and the balls are in and around the box, he's there. So this is the perfect setup by Napoli. And you've got Di Lorenzo with all the time in the world to pick a nice cross, which he actually does. And then Osimhen, there's a loose ball, he miscontrols it, whatever. But look at the desire. Look at the strength to hold back two Bologna defenders. Not some little kids. Two Bologna defenders. I mean, his body posture, man. The strength, the anger. Like Oma said yesterday. The anger to get to every ball. And when we're winning 2-0 already. And then he gets fouled. And as I said, Insigne steps up. He's got the courage to do it one more time. He steps up and he scores. So let's see some of the comments, guys, because it's been a while since I read the comments. Luigi Della Vecchia saying, did anyone notice that Lorenzo looks like Guardiola? Something in their faces is very similar. So I saw a photo where they basically took away Lorenzo's hairline, and it really did look like Guardiola. If Lorenzo goes bald, he looks like Guardiola. So that's true. That is true. Chucky as an inverted winger should be tried a bit more. He scores against Sampdoria, just showed how dangerous he is shooting from the left. I mean, that is his natural position, starting on the left. And a lot of people were saying that actually we should start a few games with him on the left and Politano on the right and give Insigne a rest at times. And that is going to happen, I think, at some points, for sure. And I think also in some games where Politano starts and Insigne starts, maybe we can take off Insigne first instead of always Politano, and then put Lozano instead of Insigne if you really need Insigne to start. So, yeah. But I do agree with you, TT. Do you agree that Spalletti needs to work with the team on how to play with Mertens as a false nine when Osimhen isn't available? Mertens can't play the same style as Osimhen, and Petagna isn't good enough, says SJ. I think the team plays more to Mertens' strengths than Osimhen's, to be honest with you. When Mertens is a number 9, I feel like part of the reason why Osimhen isn't scoring as many goals as he could, and I know he's scoring a lot of goals, but I feel like he could score even more, is because Napoli is still adapting to Osimhen. It's been a long time since Napoli had such a fast, tall striker. We've gotten very used to Mertens over the last 4-5 years that he's been playing as a number 9 for us. You've got players like Insigne who are so used to playing with Mertens. Zielinski is so used to playing with Mertens. Fabian, all these guys. So I actually feel like the team is able to adapt pretty good to Mertens and play to his strength. And I think only recently have they started adapting well to Osimhen. Anthony Navarro is saying, hey guys, sorry for the late entry to the live. Wow, what a performance. This to me was a big statement win because Bologna versus Milan played a similar style and we just absolutely worked them this game. Anthony, that's a great point. Bologna against Milan were almost drawing that match with 9 men. Whereas 11v11, we were head and shoulders above Bologna. There's no game today. There was no game today. I mean, look at this, guys. Talk about timing. But look at this. This is how Bologna, when they're 3-0 down, were against Napoli. They had all 11 players within their box. All 11 players, and they tried to counter. They really did try to counter, and then look what happened. They countered with one guy. I almost felt sorry for Bologna, and then I realized that I don't actually care about Bologna. So then I didn't feel sorry for them. I actually enjoyed today. I didn't feel sorry for anyone. So, yeah. But I did at this point say, you know what? I am going to take no more screenshots of the game because it is embarrassing how superior Napoli is, and it's not worth embarrassing Bologna anymore. It's not worth. Like, this is sad. The fact that I have come here and put this on the internet, this guy has a family. And it's on the internet now that he is just lost in Napoli's half. No one's supporting him. It's sad. It's sad, guys. It's extremely sad times for Bologna, and I didn't want to continue doing that for them. So I said to myself, 68th minute, that's the last screenshot of the game, and at that point we can go straight to the player ratings. So let's go to the player ratings. I want to start with Goulam. I'm giving him a 7.5. Goulam is joint top man of the match with Fabian and Mairarui, because 7.5 for me represents the 7.5 months that Goulam has been away for Napoli with just his recent injury. I mean, he's had so many injuries, and man, this guy keeps coming back and back and back and back and puts in the work to come back and try one more time. And I respect that and I rate that, and he's an absolute professional. He has never complained when he was fit but never got a minute because coaches didn't trust him yet. And he sat on the bench for 6-7 games and then would get 5 minutes. And then for some reason he'd get hurt again. But, never complained. Always tried to come back, put his body through so many operations. I rate Goulam a lot as a person. I mean, the stuff that he does off the field as well. Just a true representative of Napoli in every single way. And I just wanted to symbolically put him a 7.5, joint man of the match for the 7.5 months that he's been away. And now he got some minutes. The other 7.5s are Mairarui and Fabian. Fabian, because of obvious reasons. I mean, today's game was worth watching just because of Fabian's goal, let's be honest. And when the game is 0-0 and you score a goal like that, you're going to end the game with at least a 7. I mean, 7 if you do nothing else. 7.5 if you then have also a very good game. If he added assists to that, he would have gotten in the 8s. It would have been one of his best performances ever. But yeah, 7.5 is very, very good. Is very good. And you guys know I'm a bit harsh with my ratings at times. I try to keep the 8s, 9s, and 10s for really, really, really good experience, for really, really good games. Mairarui 7.5 because he was fantastic as well. The way that he's been playing this year, apart from that Spartak Moscow red card, has been so consistent. And he's been going forward more than Di Lorenzo. And he's been defending. And he's been overlapping with Insigne, and he's been contributing to the midfield at times, and he got a shot on target today, which for him is huge. It's like scoring a hat trick for other players, like him having a shot on target means that he's having a good game, and I want to reward him. So he's getting a 7.5, and everybody else, to be honest, gets a 7 because they had absolutely fantastic games. Anguissa hit the post or the crossbar. If he scored that goal, he would have probably gotten a 7.5 as well. And Anguissa, man, I know you're watching. I know you're watching because I criticized you on Sunday. I'm going to talk straight to you, man. First off, please stay at Napoli. Second off, I criticized you on Sunday, but, I said something like minus half a point because you don't shoot enough. And today you had 2 shots. And they were both really close. So I know you're watching. congrats for, tuning in, and congrats for almost scoring. Can you say that? Congrats for almost scoring. Is that a thing? Can you congratulate someone for almost reaching their goals? I don't know. Keep it up is what I'm trying to say. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Man, this cold is getting to my head. It's like my thought process. I congratulated someone for hitting the crossbar. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. That's called dehydration, I think. Ospina NA. Man could have slept half the game. I don't remember Ospina in this game, man. Like, I don't. I think he came out for 1 or 2 crosses. And that's it. He had nothing to do. So honestly, honestly, like, Ospina, nothing. But that's not bad. That just means that the defense did really well. And I'm giving everyone in defense a 7 because I think they just work so well together. And, Bologna weren't dangerous, but the defense didn't allow them to be dangerous. The way they were so compact, the way they, because a lot of the times in football, it's about not doing simple things wrong. And when you can do that, then the simple things go unnoticed, but it's what makes you win games. You know what I mean? And when the defense works so well, then you don't have to rely on an incredible individual performance, because defending is done as a team. It's done as a block. See, a lot of the times people say, like, oh, what a great defender. He's always, with that last minute tackle. Why does he need to do a last minute tackle? That means that the defense was allowing the striker to get away. So he wasn't doing his job right in the first place half the time. So, you know what I mean? We don't allow teams anymore to break on us. When I saw Abraham with Roma last weekend get clear on us, that was maybe the first time this season in 10 games that we've had a striker that managed to get in between our center backs. The first time. So, incredible performance by these guys, keeping it tight. Real tight. And yeah, you don't need to do last minute defensive tackles to get a 7 in defense. You just got to be solid. You don't gotta not make the mistakes. Good evening, says I love that nickname, man. With Emery as his picture. Good evening. I bet you're laughing at Juventus are awful because they let Ronaldo leave. Man, they were awful with Ronaldo as well. And I did enjoy them losing yesterday against Sassuolo. But I'm not going to make fun of them. I'm not, because I'm not that type of channel, to be honest. I know I joked with Bologna a little bit, but it's because we're playing against Bologna. But I'm not going to go here and like cold diss on Juve. Like, that's not my style. We keep it classy out here at Napoli Talk. The nice thing about this channel, guys, is that I don't get like any hate from other teams or other, like, no fan comes onto my channel and just starts like arguments. Like, if it happens so rare, like 1 every 30 videos. I'm not even joking. Because, to be honest, I'm really respectful of other teams, because I don't comment about other teams because I genuinely don't care about other teams. I have so many things to do in my life that I would never tweet about another team more than like once a month. Like, genuinely. Because I just don't have the time for them. I just do not care. I just want to see Napoli win. Then what other teams do doesn't concern me. Honestly, I couldn't care less. So, I don't hate on them. They don't hate on me. Everyone's happy. And I feel like that's how it should be. You got to just focus on yourself. Otherwise, you're just getting caught up in random arguments. Good evening is saying, I have to watch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be a goblin. You have brilliant manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, man, he is not adequate to be a coach. That goal in 1999 is carrying his career. Just because he scored a last-minute winner against Bayern in the Champions League final does not mean that he should be coaching that same team. It's incredible what past history can do. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say something and then I'm not gonna say it. Maybe some of you guys have read my mind. Maximus 1318 Abel is saying, not me. I knew Ronaldo would cash strap that team. Wasn't the point of him to win the Champions League? Yeah. It was always going to be difficult winning the Champions League for Ronaldo, Juventus, because the Champions League is difficult to win when you've got teams investing like the way that PSG and Man City are, and they're not even winning it. You need, for the Champions League, I think you need the best coaches. So that's why people like... I hope the stream hasn't lagged. So, yeah. It's telling me that the stream is lagging. I don't know if it is or not. I think it's back. But, yeah. Yeah, it was always going to be difficult for Ronaldo to win the league. But to be fair to him, he did come to Italy and he became top scorer. So for him personally, he probably did what he wanted to do, which is honestly like just prove that he can score goals in Italy, like he did in every country. Even though I think he will regret not having the Champions League. Anyways, back to the player ratings. Everyone gets a 7. Everyone did great. And then the bench and Elmas and Lozano get a 6.5 because, I mean, the bench at that point, like the game was done. There was nothing really to show off anymore. Like Bologna, it's like they were done. There's not really too much that you can do that can impress people when the game's 3-0. And then Elmas and Lozano, you know, a tad less good than Insigne and Osimhen today. A bit less, you know, didn't contribute so much. Obviously, Insigne scored the goals. Osimhen gave us the penalties and all that. So, whereas Elmas and Lozano, like you can't really find too many highlights of them. So yeah, guys. I mean, our next games now, we've got Salernitana, then the Europa League game, then Verona, then there's a break, and then Inter, Spartak, and you know, at that point, at the end of November, in about a month, that's the business end of the. Not the business end, but that's when it gets real interesting. When we've got Inter, we got to play Inter, Milan, Atalanta. The last 2 games in the group against Spartak away from home in Russia in November. That's going to be tough, and we've got Leicester after that. So November, December is going to be fun. And then, yeah, let's take a very brief look at the stats so that we see, you know, what did Napoli do? And yeah, we just dominated 18 shots. To be fair, not many on target, but hey, you know, the ones that counted. 700 passes, pretty much double what Bologna have. And you know the game is done and dusted at an early point. You know, we scored our 3rd penalty before the 60th minute because the pass accuracy is so high. So oftentimes I say the pass accuracy needs to be 84, 85% because it shows that you're trying all these vertical passes and all that. But then when the game is so one-sided and when the game is closed off at 3-0 and for the last half an hour you're really just actually killing off time and passing it sideways to just keep the ball and save energy. But you're doing that deliberately, not because you don't have any creativity. You're doing that to save energy and because the game's done. Then the pass accuracy like shoots up to stuff like 92. So in this case, 92 is fine. And we were aggressive. Like 20 fouls is actually very good against Bologna's 5. And yeah, just overall complete dominance, really. We only conceded 2 corners from Bologna, and this is how the table looks like, with Napoli tied on points with Milan. To be fair to Milan, they've got the same points as Napoli, and then the other teams are just that bit behind, and that's where that game against Inter is going to be so important in 3 games time, in like 3 weeks time. Because if we can beat Inter, let's say we both win the next 2 games, for example, then we play Inter, and if we beat Inter, especially away from home, then that's 10 points with an away victory. And that's important in Italy, because in Italy, if you were ever tied on points, it goes down to head-to-head rather than general goal difference. Even though for general goal difference, we are the best in the league with 19. Right. As I said, I feel like Juventus are now officially out of it. I feel like Lazio were never in it. And Atalanta, 10 points behind. Not officially out of it, but slim chances. Roma, to be fair, 9 points. They can claw that back still if Napoli and Milan drop the ball. So I wouldn't say Roma are completely out, but yeah, it's going to be tough for them. It's really between Napoli, Inter, and Milan at this point, and we'll see in 3 weeks' time if Inter are going to have a bigger say or a smaller say in the situation. And then, guys, I think that's pretty much it. There's the press conference normally, but Spalletti wasn't coaching Napoli today because he was suspended after getting a red card against Roma. So maybe his vice was speaking. So yes, Domenichini is speaking, and it's a short one, so we're going to be brief. I know Spalletti's head is there because I don't have a photo for Domenichini, but let's pretend like it's Spalletti. And so they asked him, what did you like about the game? And he said, we never got any counterattacks against us. It's a really good thing for the team because it shows that we are holding the field well. They ask him where Napoli can improve, and he says there's always margins for getting better. We have to keep the right sort of tension in the game. You know, we have to stay switched on. In the few games, we had some lack of concentration, and that can't happen. We have to always be, with our head in the game, and we need to make sure that we have super high rhythm at all times when the situation calls for it. They ask him if Insigne has been training more on penalties, and he's saying, look, Insigne has always been training on penalties, and then, the only people that miss penalties are the ones that have the courage to actually try them. But the coach has always had the same trust in him as the penalty taker, and he's been rewarded for that because today he was impeccable with that. And they ask him, what is the secret behind Napoli? And he's saying, look, the secret behind Napoli is working hard every single day. We are fortunate because we work with a team that has great desire. They don't cause us any issues, and for this staff of coaches, that makes our job so much easier. And they ask him, when you guys were in the retreat at the start of the season, did you think that you would arrive to the 10th game of the season, 13 points over Juve, 9 wins and 1 draw? And he said, look, we always believed we had the quality to do well, to fight against everyone, but then to have so many points, maybe not, but we were confident that we were going to do well. And that's the press conference, guys, from Domenichini. Anyways, I'm going to rest because I need this to go away. I need this cold to go away, and that means resting. So guys, super happy about today. Thank you for everyone that's joined, and thank you for everyone that's donated. Thank you for everyone that supported the channel. Thanks for everyone that watched the video with Oma and gave him a big shout out as well. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and do that. Leave a comment if you've seen it, It helps the video keep. If you guys watch my videos, like, leave a comment, even if it's like just like a dot or something, because it helps the channel grow. Make sure you are smashing that like button, because the more it grows, the more there's a bigger community to interact with, which is also really cool. And that's, I guess, the whole point of me doing this, to interact with as many Napoli fans as possible. Anyways, yeah, that's everything, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on Sunday, unless you're busy on Sunday, and then we won't see each other on Sunday, and you'll see me the day after. But I think you know what I mean. Anyways, Salernitana on Sunday, guys. Have a good one. Have a good night, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.